What's up, everybody? Thank you again for tuning into the OK Preps Extra podcast. I am Dean Ruhl, and we've got a special guest today. We've got a quarterback, only a sophomore, thrown for more than 2,500 passing yards, 36 touchdowns this season, and he's led his team to an 11-1 record. Jamarian Ficklin from Muskogee. Jamarian, how are you doing today?
Doing perfectly good today.
So, Jamarian, obviously, you're only a sophomore. You're only an underclassman. Not a lot of people know you, but you're slowly, actually not slowly, you're quickly becoming one of the premier quarterbacks in the state. You're starting to gain a lot of attention. But let's take it back to the beginning, Jamarian. Where did this love for football start for you?
It started in kindergarten when my dad first put a ball in my hand. He always kept around me when I was like in the dorms because he was a college student. So he played linebacker. He wanted me to play football. He wanted me to be more of a linebacker, running back to where he is. So I started out as a running back. As soon as I hit the third grade, moved schools, um, finally figured I could throw the ball. That's when I first became a quarterback. And ever since then, I never want to quit football. I've always wanted to stick to it.
And you've also, I know you haven't done it a ton this season, but you're also play safety, correct?
Yes, I do.
So what's the interest at that position for you?
The interest at that position is I've always played that position as well because I could always track the ball in the air and go up to get it at any point in time. Had a good high point skills, play center field baseball, so I was able to track the ball easily when it was in the air. Um, I'm mainly seen as a safety other than quarterback because of my size.
And so in terms of when colleges are reaching out, are they more interested in Jamarian the quarterback or Jamarian the safety?
A lot of them see me as an athlete, but where I mainly want to go to is a quarterback.
And so I know you just talked on your dad there, and he played college football. And I know that you and him are pretty big on watching tape together. What do those look like? What does that time look like spent with him?
Yeah, we do. So he's more of a defensive type of player. So he's sitting there breaking down what he sees, what a defense is doing, and what I could do in order to break down that defense in mid game. I show him the offensive perspective where if this happens, I'm able to do this. So if he does say something that doesn't make sense to me, I could tell him like this person would go here in order for him to get here. So
Would you say that's your main bonding time with him?
yeah, more film or going to watch another high school game.
And so when you're playing, is he a dad who likes to send the halftime text, say you missed this, you missed that, or is he hold that all for after game?
Nah, he sends that text. He'll send me a long paragraph that I have to read. I won't text back. I just like it or tell him what I'm seeing out there. So he'll send me something before the game, um, at halftime, and then after the game. So it's all different conversations.
To have that person in your life, he's and not that you're not defensive because you play safety as well, but to have somebody who grew up and played, the linebacker position and played it in college, to have him coming from that angle and then you attack it from an offensive angle, how helpful is that in kind of honing and developing your skills?
It's really helpful because he's able to break down like what a linebacker would do in a certain situation because he played that position. He's played all the way through college, so he's able to tell me like when I drop back what a linebacker would do and where they're gonna drop to in a certain coverage. So I'm able to see that. He always tells me watch my DNs because he also played DN as well. He tells me what they would do from beginning of the snap to the end of the snap, how to read them, how they're coming off the ball. So he really teaches me a lot from a defensive perspective as I teach him a lot from the offensive.
Are you ever in a game and you get the halftime text and maybe you don't necessarily agree with what he's saying, and then you're out in the game and you see what he's saying and you're just like, oh, dad was right.
Yeah, I do a lot actually. He sees a lot of stuff, from the stands. He's higher up, so he's able to see what they're doing every play rather than me having to do it mid play. the game moving fast around me. So I gotta make a decision like in a snap of a finger. So he's able to see how it developed in the stands and what I could do better. But whenever I get that halftime text and I don't see what he's saying, it makes me a little mad. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't see none of this, but how do you see it? And then as I get in the game and I do what he said and I have success off of it, then I really start to understand it.
And you've got a coach in Travis Hill who's well seasoned, who's been around a while. How helpful has he been for you in the development?
He's been one of the people that I can always count on me whenever I'm getting down or starting to be lazy. He's gonna motivate me to pick it up, get on me, deflate my head if I start getting big headed. So he's one of the coaches that one of my best coaches I've ever been with, and has been able to coach me because he always keeps it straight and forward. He never sugarcoats it. He's always telling me what I need to do right then and there. Um, he's telling me what he also sees because he also played defense as well as a safety, and he played all the way through the leagues. So he's really teaching me from what he sees on a defensive as well as my dad is. So I really like Coach Hill as a coach, and that's somebody that I've always been able to trust when he tells me something.
What kind of a guy is Coach Hill? Maybe not so much on the field, but off the field when you're just chatting with him, because he's got kind of the gruff voice, very, you know, old school and traditional in a way, I think. What kind of a person is he?
Coach Hill is actually really nice. Like when he's off the field, not between the lines, on the field, he has that little he's gonna eat you up part. But whenever he's off the field, he's really nice, well spoken. Um, he'll sit down, talk to you whenever you need it. So no, I really love Coach Hill.
Yes, some people don't know it, but your nickname's Bird. What's the story behind that, Jamarian?
So whenever I was born, I was really skinny, shivered up, pinks, and my legs was really skinny as well as I started to grow up. Um, so my dad was messing around, called me Bird, and I really started to like that nickname. So as he started to call me, it really stuck to my name, so I kept it.
Jamarian, you started at Muskogee as a freshman, and even the most diehards of fans can't even remember the last time a freshman started at quarterback. Walk me through what the emotions were like that first year for you, just trying to get yourself established. What was that like?
My emotions was up and down because I never really understood how high school football worked yet. Through the first three games, the first game was Greenwood, defending champs, coming from Arkansas. So, that was a game that you really don't ever want to put a freshman into for their first game because they have a lot more experience than what I have. So, you know, that whole season was had a lot of bumpy roads, really goods, really bads, coming out 2-8 in that year, but I still had a lot of success as I learned the game speed, picked the game speed up, slowed it down to myself and was able to play.
And like you said right there, 2-8 your freshman year, all of a sudden you guys are 11-1 and you're in the semifinals of Class 6A2. What do you attribute to that quick turnaround?
Keeping my team on straight. Not everything is what I've done. It's a lot of team bonding, communication, chemistry. Um, them doing what they need to, I'm doing what I need to. They keeping me on straight, I keep them on straight. So it's really been like a teamwork. Everybody matured from last year. Everybody became positive and started having like a grinding mode.
And you just said right there, everybody matured, but this team is still pretty young. There's a lot of guys, a lot of sophomores like yourself, and there's a couple other ones who contribute a lot already. And from the looks of it, it's not breaking up anytime soon.
Yeah, everybody's either a junior or a sophomore, still really young. Only have two seniors from the offensive side graduating this year. Um, and one from the defensive side that's graduating. So, our whole team's gonna be coming back. We have people we can put in their spots. Upcoming freshmen that will be sophomores next year that are pretty good. be able to step in. My sophomore class, some receivers from there can step in. So we're still really stacked, skill position and linemen on both sides of the ball.
And so you're already as a sophomore in the semifinals. You're playing this Friday for a chance to go play in the state championship, and you're going to be returning most of this team. How exciting is that for you?
It's really exciting because I know we can make a run out of some years this year, next year, and the year after that. We can definitely make a run for it. It's really exciting to see that everybody's coming together and everybody's starting to notice that we are young. We're a young team. Everybody's going to be coming back in order for us to do what we need to.
Jamar, just switching topics here a little bit. Like we said in the beginning, hey, you're kind of becoming one of these well-known quarterbacks in the state. And I know that a month or so ago, the OSSAA passed some NIL guidelines for high school athletes to profit off their name, image, and likeness. Is that anything that interests you?
I mean, yeah, it would interest me because the money, but I'm in a semis, playoffs is around, so I can't really worry about NILs right now. That'll come throughout my years. I still have a junior and a senior year. I'm only a sophomore, so I still have time to pick those up. 2 more years, so can't really worry about that right now.
And going back to this season, and actually going back to the past 2 seasons you've had here at Muskogee, what have been the hardest parts for you to get adjusted to the high school game, like you were saying there?
Understanding different defensive schemes and different defensive ends. Some will rush hard, some will just try to get upfield to contain. Some defenses run a four cross defense, cover two, cover four. You know, Meeting a lot of different players. Some really understand the game and some don't. Some just think they're out there. So I'm having to learn like different people mid game.
And then Jamarian, going back to recruitment, what's that process been like for you? For some kids, it's overwhelming. For others, they really enjoy it and don't let it stress them out. What's that process been like for you so far?
It's been a really fun process going from different camps, talking to different coaches, coaches talking to my coach since I'm only a sophomore. So it's been something that I've really loved, something I never want to stop doing because I'm starting to pick it up more. I'm starting to understand the recruitment process a lot more than what I did last year as I started getting recruited.
And what do you mean by that when you say you've really started to understand it a lot better? What does that look like?
How you're supposed to talk to a coach, how you handle yourself to a coach. You know, when a coach walks up to you and you're sitting down, you stand up, greet them, shake their hand, first and last name always. So I really understood, my freshman year, I didn't really understand that. I was just greeting the coach, sitting down, just saying my first name. So I really started to pick it up this recruit.
Have you ever been starstruck yet? Has there been a coach you've met that you say, "Wow, this guy's out here to see me"?
Um, Either OU coach or OSU coach, Venables.
Yeah. To when you got that first offer, it was Florida A&M, correct?
Yes.
What was the emotion there? What were you feeling when that came in and you say, "Oh man, I just got this and I'm only a freshman."
I was really surprised. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how it came, what I did for it to come. So I was just surprised, jumping around, really happy. Couldn't wait to post it. Was just really big headed, but had to stay on the grind.
And then Jamarian, we'll wrap this up here, and I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. When you look at this team and what they are, and like we've said, it's the core of this team is already so young, and you're already achieving what you achieved this year. How do you keep it going forward into your junior year, your senior year?
I got to keep it going by um, building my backups. starters as they start to lead. I gotta have people behind them who also understand the game as well as the starters did. Um, a team is only as good as their weakest link. So, coaches always preach that to us. Got to work with the backups as well as I do with the starters. Got to help them when they need it and they don't understand. You know, a lot of the backups, they're going to be a lot of playful because they don't really understand how to whenever they're supposed to be on the field. So, whenever we're in practice, got to get on them to tell them to pick it up. Let's go. You're a backup. We might end up needing you at some point if anything happens.
All right. Well, Jamarian, I appreciate you joining. As always, everybody, thank you for giving us a listen. You can check us out, TulsaWorld.com, Apple, Spotify. We'll be all there. Jamarian, any closing thoughts?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening, Jamarian. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.